Hello guys, Bully tier list, as I promised, is here. So I'm going to go through every song on Bully and rank them from best to worst on this tier list. As much as you'd probably like me to put every song in S tier because it is Kanye, this is not one of those albums where we can do that. It's pointless doing this for albums like The College Dropout or My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy because it's all A and S tier songs. But for Bully, we have a good variety of tracks here. I'm just going to move myself out of the way, put myself over S tier, because that makes sense in my brain. Let's get on to this with the first song, opening track, King. It's grown on me a lot, actually. This song has grown on me the most out of any song on the album. I really like the abrasive industrial beat, and I think Kanye's rapping is actually pretty good on here, so I'm going to put it in A tier to start with. Next up, the shorter interlude style track. This a must. I don't mind this song. I think it would be a lot better if it was twice as long and a bit more fleshed out, because at the moment it is sort of just like an outro to King in a way. It's a bit like there's a bit of a beat switch and then you get onto This a Must. So for the time being, I'm going to put it in C. It is too short to be put any higher, I think. Following that, we've got Father featuring Travis Scott. Another one of my favourite songs on the album, actually. I think it's not quite the same level as King, and the mixing in for Ye's vocals is pretty bad, as well as the verses aren't that memorable. So I'm going to put it in B tier for now. It could be one of these songs where if they had spent a bit more time producing it and making it sound really good, it would have been a much better song. But from what I can tell from the sessions that they spent in the studio, it didn't look like it took them that long to put it together. So that's where it's going to be for the time being. Next up, All the Love, a massive fan favourite song, and again, one of my favourites on the album. It's melodic, it's got like a sort of dance feel to it, the synth's crazy, the sample's crazy. Is it better than King? I think it's slightly better than King, just because it does have better, I think, replayability. Following on, Punch Drunk. Yeah, another one of these super short tracks that I find quite annoying, actually, especially considering the sample that he used here. It could have been really good. They could have stretched it out a bit longer, added another verse. It would be a tier above, but for now I'm going to put it in C tier, unfortunately. Following on from that, we've got Whatever Works, another shorter track. Not one of my favourites here, but it's not necessarily bad. It is just too short, and the sample is annoying, so I'm going to put it below Punch Drunk for the time being. I can't think of which I prefer out of these two, really. They're both sort of on the same level to me, but this is a must. It is just a couple of steps ahead. Mama's Favourite. It's a good song because it's saved by the ending, and I do think it is better than the rest of these songs on C tier, just because the ending is quite heartfelt and moving, especially if you've watched the documentary and you know the context of the conversation between Ye and his mother. It's bittersweet, really. Next, we've got Sisters and Brothers, another one of the really good songs on this album. Is it better than King? I think it's slightly better than King. I wouldn't put it at the same level as All the Love, just as I was saying before, All the Love is very replayable and it's very widely accessible as well. I can see a lot of people who aren't usually into Kanye's music enjoying this. But with Sisters and Brothers, you actually get a fairly good performance from Ye. The synth production is really nice, it's really fuzzy, tickles your brain, and it is one of my favourite songs off of this track list. This first half is pretty good. I think it really does, the album quality does really dip in the second. The title track, Bully, is the most underrated song on this album, and I think it's the only song. Am I going to put it S tier? Is it an S tier Kanye song? I don't think it's an S tier. I'm going to put it as high A tier. I think that the dark, brooding instrumental is incredible, and that CeeLo Green killed it with his feature on there. The song does not get enough praise. I've seen people ranking this towards the lower end of the track list, behind the short interlude style tracks, and I think that is criminal. Highs and Lows, we know what this song could have been. It could have been S tier. It's going to go in B tier. The sample did not get cleared. I don't enjoy this version as much. It's quite a triumphant song, and it does fit quite well following on from Bully, just to sort of change the tone a little bit. But again, it's not quite on the same tier as some of these other tracks, just because it's a bit short. It doesn't have the same level of development as the other songs, but we all know what it could have been, and it could have been incredible. Following on from that, we've got I Can't Wait. Now, this is an interesting song because I don't hate the sample because it's so iconic, but I also don't love it either. I think it's quite poorly used. Is it better than the shorter tracks on C tier? I would say, yeah, I'll put it right in the middle of C tier. Again, it has potential. Loads of these songs have loads of potential, and potentially one day we'll get a more fleshed out version of the album, but I do not have high hopes for that at the moment. Following on with a sample that I really don't like. I do not like the sample on White Lines. It's not quite F tier. I think you'll know what songs are going to be on F tier. But for White Lines, the sample it's so out of place for that song. It does not fit in well at all with the rest of the album either. It doesn't have that sort of dark aesthetic that we have come to love from Bully so far. So I'm just going to leave it in D tier for now. And then moving on to my least favourite song. If Ty Dolla $ign was here, he'd be putting this in S tier, but I'm going to put it in F tier. I thought we probably would need to send some people to check up on Ty after it did get removed off of Spotify for whatever reason for about a day. That was not the greatest loss in the world for me. It actually increased the rating of the album for me by about 2 or 3 points. Yeah, Circles, it stinks. I don't know what the point of this song is. I don't quite know what Don Toliver is doing on this song. I'm not a massive Don Toliver fan anyway, but putting him on a song like this and then not using him at all for anything of value is crazy to me. Preacher Man, the lead single, I suppose, for this album, I see a lot of people loving this song and the critics are praising it as well. For me, it really doesn't work that well. There's not enough going on for my brain to enjoy it that much. I'd say it is better than these two songs, and the verses aren't awful. It is a perfect middle of the road track for this album, in my opinion, although I think loads of people will disagree, as I see a lot of people ranking it as their favourite song out of the entire track list. Oh, and also it probably has AI on it, so that automatically knocks it down a tier for just sheer laziness. On to Beauty and the Beast, an annoying song in my opinion. The mix is bad. Ye sounds half asleep the entire time. It is a D tier song. I think it's worse than White Lines. At least White Lines has the hilariously bad sample that made me laugh out loud on the first time I listened to it. Damn, another short track that kind of goes nowhere. I find this so boring. Some people love it. Some people love this song. It's better than Circles, but I think it's really bottom of the barrel Kanye West music here. He definitely could do better. Last Breath. Do I dare put this on the same level as Circles? I don't know. I think if we had an E tier, it would be the only E tier song here. The song does have some fun parts, but it also has Kanye singing in Spanish. I'm just going to put it in F tier for the time being. Maybe I'll move it to low D tier. I don't know. Yeah, I'll move it to low D tier. It's not quite as bad as Damn and Circles, and even though it does have the awful Spanish singing, it's a little bit fun, I suppose. It does not fit with Bully. I don't know why he released it as part of this album. It doesn't make sense at all in my head. And then finally, the closing track, this one here. Another one of the songs I quite enjoyed on this album, actually, especially after a few listens. It grew on me a little bit. I'm going to put it I'll put it above my other favourites. It's right at the top of C tier. I think it has a lot of potential. I've said that a lot this video. There's a lot of potential on this album. I think the issues stem from the poor vocal delivery and slightly muddy production, as well as I don't think it was intended to be the closing song. So it doesn't have that sort of feeling of completion that you usually get with a Kanye West album. So that's the tier list. Nothing quite reaches S tier for me, unfortunately. Bully is the closest we get in that regard, and I do think that a Bully is overall the strongest track here, even against the fan favourites like All of the Love and Sisters and Brothers. Those songs are really good, and anything on A tier, and if I did have stuff on S tier, that is definitely going on my playlist. But for the rest of this album, I find most of it to be decent to mediocre level music with a few really bad songs on it. Let me know what you think of this album in the comments overall, and then tell me where I messed up on the tier list. Tell me if you have any of the songs in S tier. Tell me if you, like Ty Dolla $ign, think that Circles is one of the best things that has ever been created musically. Please leave a like on the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe to the channel because I'll be releasing in the next week or so an entire Kanye West discography tier list covering everything from The College Dropout to Bully, including his collaboration albums, including Vultures 2. If you want to hear my thoughts on Vultures 2, subscribe. You can't miss that. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video. Bye.